देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे.
So these are words spoken by Shukadeva Goswami in preparing to answer the various questions that Parikshit asked in the previous chapter. And in today's verse, Shukadeva Goswami is describing about Brahma, Jagatam Paro Guruhu, who is the greatest spiritual master of the whole universe. Sa Adi Devo Jagatam Paro Guruhu. He is the Adi Deva, the first Devata, or the source of all other Devatas. He is to be considered as the Paro Guru. Anyone who teaches us is a Guru, and anyone who teaches us the supreme knowledge, he is the Paro Guru. And because Lord Brahma teaches about Bhakti Yoga, he is considered the Paro Guru. Jagatam Paro Guru. Swadishyam Asthaya. Swadishyam, Dishna means his own abode, his own home, his own place, his own seat. So it refers to lotus seat of Lord Brahma. Swadishyam Asthaya. He sat here. The source of it. Where is this seed coming from? And Sisriksha Aikshata, Sisrikshaya Aikshata, Sisrikshaya, for the matter of Srishti, for the matter of creation, Aikshata. He was thinking, he was considering, he was planning. I must create. Tam na adyagachat drisham atra sammatam. Na adyagachat. Adyagachat could not understand. Na adyagachat. Adyagachat to understand. Na adyagachat. This word, let us see where it comes. Adyagachat. No, that is gachet, to go. In the sense of adhyagachat, to know, to understand. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idum Uttamam Pratyaksh Avagamam. No, not that verse. There's another verse. Yat yat vibhuti mat sattvam Shrimat urjitameva va tat tat eva vagachatvam mama tejam shasambhavam. Gachatvam. You should understand. Krishna is saying, yat yat vibhuti mat sattvam Shrimat urjitameva va tat tat eva avagachatvam mama teja amshaha sambhavam. So, tam na adigachat, to understand. There also Krishna is saying, whenever you see something extraordinary, something very powerful, something very opulent, you must understand that it is happening but by a spark of my splendor. You must understand. So, tam na adhyagachat. Brahma could not understand drisham. Drisham, sight, vision, direction. Drisham na adhyagachat. He could not understand how to do sisrikshaya. Sammatham drisham na adhyagachat. Proper way of creating. Prapancha nirmana vidhi. Again, creation. Prapancha nirmana vidhi yaya bhave. At that time, he could not understand. So, Lord Brahma, the first spiritual master, Prabhupada has translated it this way: Adidevo Jagatam Paroguru, Adideva, Adiguru, supreme in the universe, Paraha, could not trace out the source of his lotus feet. So Drishnam Asthaya. And while thinking of creating the material world, Sisrikshaya Aikshata, he could not understand Na Adhyaka Sammatham Drisham, for such creative work, Prapancha Nirmana Vidhi, nor could he find out the process for such creation. Vidhi na bhavet, na adhyagachat bhavet. He could not find out, he could not understand the process. So Prabhupada is explaining this verse that this is a prelude for explaining the transcendental nature of the form and abode of the Lord. Parikshit's many questions were all about the Lord's situation, the Lord's position, Lord's form. Lord Brahma is gradually beginning, Shukadeva Goswami is gradually beginning how this knowledge has come about, and he is referring to the first Devata, the first spiritual master, Lord Brahma, who, being the first created being, had extraordinary powers, and he also could not find out what is the source of his seat, what is the source of the creation, how to go about with the Prapancha Nirmana Vidhi. He could not figure out. So Prabhupada asks the question, how can we find out what is the cause of the universe? What is the source of the universe? And how the universe has come about? And how we must act in this world. Brahma has a big task to perform, Prapancha Nirmana Vidhi. He has to create the universe. And he is empowered with extraordinary intelligence. But even he could not find out. And so, such knowledge, the power of creation by Lord Brahma was also achieved by Bhakti Yoga. It is not by some material, now I am able to do it. It was achieved by Bhakti Yoga. Dadami bhakti yogam tam enamanupayanti te. So, something that is transcendental, such knowledge of the spiritual sky, far above this material sky and its paraphernalia, can be known only by dint of devotional service or bhakti yoga. The power of creation by Lord Brahma was also achieved by bhakti yoga. Brahmaji was bewildered in the matter of creation and he could not even trace out the source of his own existence. But all this knowledge was fully achieved by him through the medium of bhakti yoga. By bhakti yoga one can know the Lord, and by knowing the Lord to know everything. One who knows the Supreme knows everything else. That is the version of all Vedas. Even the first spiritual master of the universe was enlightened by the grace of the Lord. So who can attain perfect knowledge of everything without the mercy of the Lord? If one desires to seek perfect knowledge of everything, he must seek the mercy of the Lord, and there is no other means. To seek knowledge on the strength of one's own personal attempt is a sheer waste of time. So that's the important message that comes from this verse and the purport, that even someone like Lord Brahma could not find out what to do, how to do. So, in our life situation, where as devotees trying to understand the spiritual knowledge, even in our life, the process is that we seek direction from the Supreme Lord or the representative of the Supreme Lord, the spiritual master. In fact, there is the expression Acharyavan Purusho Vedaha. Acharyavan. Acharyavan means like Balavan, means one who has strength. Acharyavan means one who has an acharya in his life. One who has accepted. He is called Acharyavan Purusha. So, it is expected that in human form of life, everyone becomes an Acharyavan Purusha. Everyone has a spiritual master. Because without the direction of the spiritual master, without the help of the spiritual master, one cannot understand what is the truth. We have a brain. We use our brain to understand. But the brain itself is a product of material nature. If we want to understand something that is beyond material universe, our material brain, which is a product of material nature, cannot comprehend that. We need knowledge from outside powers, which knowledge, because the powers of our brain are limited and cannot imagine what is there beyond. And hence, the direction in the Vedic literature is to take knowledge from a superior source and take knowledge from an acharya. And where is the acharya getting his knowledge? He is getting his knowledge from his acharya. And where is his acharya getting the knowledge? His acharya is getting the knowledge from his acharya. In other words, this sets up a system, a parampara, and the original head of that parampara is Krishna himself. Where is Krishna getting the knowledge? He does not have to get knowledge from anyone else. If he also has to get that search for the original source ends with Krishna. How do we know that it ends with Krishna? The Shastras reveal that. Ishvara Paramat Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda. He is the Adi and he is Anadi. He is the source and he has no other source. So he is the end. He is that ultimate end. And that Krishna is the source of everything and including the knowledge. So, by our own efforts, by our own abilities, we do not try to do our bhakti yoga, our devotional abilities. It is simply depending on the mercy of the spiritual master, depending on the mercy of the direction of the Lord, we must learn to act. If someone thinks that I am so intelligent, I am so powerful, I am so experienced, I can do things, he's completely mistaken. Our whole process of devotional activities is to understand how I can recognize the hand of Krishna in everything. There's a story. There was a weightlifter, champion. He can lift big weights. He was a professional weightlifter. So, he had one room where he would go in the morning for 1 hour lifting and then increasing the weight and then increasing, again lifting and then increasing more weight. Like that he would do that every day. That's how they grow their muscles, strength of the muscles. So he would do that. And he had one small son. And the son would also watch father lifting things. Like that. So, as children, they all admire their father. Oh, my father can lift so many things. He was in great admiration of the father. So one day, he also went to the room where the father would do his exercise. Nobody was there. And then he also tried to lift. After all, small child, can't even move an inch. Then he gave up and came away. Another day again he went. He was trying. Poor child, he cannot lift at all. But this next time when he went, he lifted. Suddenly it went up. And then he lifted further. It came off the ground 1 foot. And then he lifted it. It went up. 400 kilos. And he was thinking, I am holding it. But just behind him, there was one curtain. His father was standing behind the curtain. And he was holding it up. And he was lifting it up. Because he saw the child trying to attempt to lift. So let me give the thrill to the child. And then, now this small child holding, see, I am holding 500 kilos. He was very happy. I did it. So, this is how our devotional lives are. In devotional life, this is actually a very blissful experience. We do beyond our ability because somebody else is lifting. The child is thinking, I am lifting. No, he's not. He's okay, making an attempt to lift. Seeing that he is making an attempt to lift, the father lifted it. In the same way, seeing that we are making an attempt to serve the Lord will bring all kinds of energies and strength and make appear to that we are doing it. You see, in the Gita, I have already decided what is the outcome of this war. Arjuna, just become my instrument. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachi. Already I have decided the outcome. You just become my nimitta. So we should always remember this principle that we must always be seeking the direction and the mercy of the Lord to be able to do our devotional activities. And if we are in that spirit, if we are in that mood, then Krishna will be pleased and He will supply all kinds of energies, He will supply all kinds of strength, He will supply all kinds of resources and intelligence to do our devotional activities. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, there is only one shortage in this world. That is Krishna consciousness. And if that Krishna consciousness is there, Krishna can provide everything. This is the confidence that we must have. There is no shortage of anything in the world. Krishna is the source of everything. He can provide anything anybody wants. See, the other day I was near the ashram in Bangalore temple in the evening. I was going and suddenly I stepped on something very soft. I got scared and jumped up because it was dark. And then I saw it was this fat frog was jumping. Then I was just thinking, how this frog has become so fat? Where did this frog get so much food to eat and become fat like that? Krishna is providing food to everyone. Krishna provides food to a frog and makes it a big fat frog. Krishna provides food to all the fishes in the ocean. Actually, according to science, different animals have different food. And they have different food because their digestive system, all that is arranged in such a way, it can digest that kind of food. Frog won't eat banana, apple, grapes. It will eat insects. It has to eat insects, flying insects, and catch that insect. And if you have seen sometimes, of course in our ashrams also we see cobwebs. Such a small spider makes an intricate cobweb to capture some other insect, and it will go and eat that. You see how Krishna is providing, has made elaborate arrangements for all kinds of living entities to provide them what they need. Eko bahunam yo vidhadati kama. We cannot get food ourselves. We have to get food from God, from Krishna. Food is possible because there is water, because there is earth, there is sunshine. Without sunshine, without earth, without water, there is no possibility. These are all the arrangements of the Lord. You can have in the garden, you'll have a nice papaya tree. Next to the papaya tree, there will be a chili tree. So the chili plant is producing hot, spicy chilies. Next to it, there is a papaya plant, it is giving sweet fruit. And both of them are connected to the earth, same earth, one plant is taking all the nutrients from the earth. Other plant is also taking the same nutrients from the earth. But according to nature, according to Krishna's arrangement, using the water, using the nutrients, using the same air, using the same sunshine, one is made into a hot, spicy chili, the other one is making sweet papayas. And the sweet papaya is protected by a skin which is bitter. You see how actually it is? According to molecular biology, it is at a molecular level these changes are happening. The fruit is becoming sweet because of certain sweet molecules, and the skin is becoming bitter because of certain bitter molecules. Just one is next to the other by a few millimeters. But the fruit is sweet, the skin is bitter. Have you ever come across a papaya by mistake? The fruit became bitter and the skin was sweet. No such mistakes happen. At the molecular level, no. This is the degree of control Krishna has in this material universe. Fully under his mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharachara. This material world is under his prakriti. It is his prakriti. Under his maya, his adhyakshena suyate, it is manifest. So if the Lord is manifesting all these things, the sunshine, the air, and the water, and the earth, on which I am dependent, and we ourselves are dependent on all these things, and all the intricate arrangement, why? Who has made all these things? Why did he make all these things? What is it that I should know about these things? This is important aspect of life. This is called yoga. Absolute truth. This is the meaning of yoga. I have my consciousness, my awareness, my emotions, my feelings, my desires. Now, there is a Supreme who has created this world in such an intricate manner, and I am fully dependent on Him, on that creation that He has made. I am not independent. I cannot be, one moment I cannot be without breathing, and breathing air, and this air is provided by God. How much we are dependent on God. God is actually holding us. And so, if God is doing all this for everyone, including me, why is He doing all these things? What is His intent? If somebody is driving somewhere, you ask him where he is, he will say, I'm going to the market, I'm going to the office, I'm going to pick up somebody, something he will say. It's a purpose for which he is going. If God created this, everyone does something with a purpose. If God created this universe, what was His purpose? If God created me, what was His purpose in creating me? This we must understand. But we cannot understand this on our own. Even Brahma, he could not understand what is the source of his creation. I'm sitting here, I'm supposed to do something, but how can I do? Where is all this coming from? He also could not figure out. And we will see how Shukadeva Goswami explains nicely how he got the direction. So it is by bhakti yoga that we can understand that transcendence. This morning we were all chanting Swadhamani Brahmani Ramsyate Namaha. Shukadeva Goswami's prayer, right? Swadhamani Brahmani Ramsyate. Brahmani, the Supreme, Swadhamani, in his own abode, Ramsyate, he enjoys in his own abode. And to that Lord who enjoys in his own spiritual abode, I offer my respects. Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. First verse of the Bhagavatam. Dhamna svena sada nirasta satyam param dhimahi. That satyam param has a swadhama, has his own abode, and he resides in his own abode, and he resides, and Shukadeva Goswami later says Ram Syate. The word Ram means enjoyment. That's how Rama, Manorama, Ramana, all these are coming from the word Ram. Ram means to enjoy. Ram Syate Swadhamani Brahmani Ramsyate Namaha. He resides, that Supreme Lord resides there in his own abode, and he enjoys. And he is the one who has created all these things. Why did he create? What is the purpose of his creation? Why did he create me? We have to get the knowledge from the authorized sources. We have to get accurate knowledge. And this accurate knowledge is very carefully preserved and handed down in a parampara. And that is why it is said in the Vedic literatures, one should become an Acharyavan. Then he will become Veda. He will know. Acharyavan Purusho Vedaha. We will understand who I am. What is this creation? What is this world about? And for doing that, there is a process, and that process is called Bhakti Yoga. We are doing Bhakti Yoga. The goal of our Bhakti Yoga process is to understand who is Krishna, who am I, what is my relation with Krishna. This is the purpose. And hence, the sadhana we do, the seva we do, everything has this foundational intent. I must know who I am and who is Krishna and how I can develop my relation with Krishna. And this is gradually revealed in the Vedic literatures. And in the highest Vedic literatures, like the Gita and the Bhagavatam, the full knowledge is revealed. That's why Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, this understanding the Supreme is the most important thing. We see how Krishna explains this in the 6th chapter. There are a lot of people who do big tapasya. We see in this world, either for material gain or for spiritual gain, they do tapasya. They take a lot of austerities. In the Gita, yogi is better than a tapasvi. Tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi. The tapasvi may be performing severe austerities, but a yogi is better than a tapasvi. Because all tapasya is meant to understand self-knowledge. And if there is no self-knowledge, his tapasya has no meaning. Whether it is material tapasya or religious tapasya, if it did not lead him to understand himself, then his tapasya has asceticism. Asceticism means tapasya. Tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi. A yogi is better than a tapasvi. Because who is yogi? He is trying to link up with the Supreme, link his consciousness with the Supreme. Tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi. And there are many learned people, jnanis. But a yogi is higher than a jnani. Jnanibhyo adhiko yogi. There are great people who take great endeavors. They are known as karmis. Karmibhyo cha adhiko yogi. Yogis adhikaha. Karmibhyaha cha adhikaha yogi. Tasmad yogi bhava Arjuna. Therefore, become a yogi. Krishna is saying, how a yogi is better than a tapasvi? Because tapasya is meant for self-knowledge. A yogi is better than a jnani. Because if a jnani does not understand surrender, then he is also Bahunam janamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. If he doesn't achieve that many lifetime of cultivation of knowledge, if it does not conclude in surrendering to Krishna, then all his knowledge is a waste. So tapasvi, self-knowledge, jnani, sharanagati, surrender, and karmi, doing lot of systematically doing different activities, grand activities, maybe piously, religiously also. And if he does not understand Krishna, if he does not develop attraction to Krishna, notpadayet yadiratihi shramayeva hi kevalam dharmasmanushtitha pumsam vishwakshena katha yadiratim shramayeva hi kevalam. He did perform dharma, dharmic activities very nicely, but he did not develop attraction to hear the message of the Lord. Then shramayeva hi kevalam. That's why Prabhupada writes in the purport here, asceticism without self-knowledge is imperfect. Tapasya without self-knowledge, if tapasya does not lead to self-knowledge, it is imperfect. Asceticism without self-knowledge is imperfect. Empiric knowledge without surrender to the Supreme Lord is also imperfect. Empiric knowledge is jnana. Jnani. And fruitive work without Krishna consciousness is a waste of time. Shramayeva hi kevalam. Therefore, the most highly praised form of yoga performance. So, tasmad yogi bhava Arjuna. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. After telling Arjuna, be a yogi, next Krishna says, yoginam api sarvesham. Among all the yogis, there is one yogi who is the best. Yoginam api sarvesham mad gathena antaratmana. Antaratmana mad gathena. Mad gathena. Gati means refuge. Mad gathena, who accepts me as the refuge and who is always thinking of me, who abides in me, who always thinks of me. Antaratmana, in the depth of his heart, in the deepest part of his heart. In Krishna consciousness, we have to look into the depth of our heart. That's why we have to be very careful. We may be doing different surveys, we may be doing different things, but deep in my heart, what is driving me? I want to know it should be for Krishna, not for my own glory. You see, that's why this demands sincerity. And because it demands sincerity, we have to go inside and look into our heart. Never be very, very confident. We should never be confident, yes, I'm doing everything for Krishna. No. We are doing everything for my ahankara. By the way, it is Krishna's work. By the mercy of Prabhupada, he has engaged me in some work which is for Krishna, and by, if you see my deep in my heart, I am doing this all for my own glory. It calls for antaratmana, mad gatena antaratmana, shraddhavan, with full shraddha, with full faith. Yes, Krishna is my Lord. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. And one who does bhajate, one who renders devotional service, sami yuktatama. He is yuktatama. Yukta means properly engaged. Most properly engaged. Yuktatama means perfect fitness. Yuktatama mataha. Me mataha. This is my opinion. I consider. Krishna is giving this. Krishna is certifying what is considered the highest yoga. Not a tapasvi, not a jnani, not a karmi, but one who does this. Matgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mata. He is the highest yoga. And after saying this, see how Krishna, this is the last verse of the 6th chapter. See how Krishna continues in the 7th chapter. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Krishna is continuing to speak. Maya tamana partha yogam yunjan madashrayaha asamshayam samagram mam yatha tachrunu. By doing this bhakti yoga under my shelter, with your mind attached to me, maya sattamana partha yogam yunjan madashraya asamshayam samagram mam yathagnasya tachrunu. You understand me completely. That's why among yoga, the highest yoga is this bhakti yoga. And this bhakti yoga, why is it called highest yoga? Because it not only links us with the Supreme, it links us in an intimate way. It links us in a close way. Because we all have an intimate relation with Krishna. Each one of us, every insect, every frog, every living entity has an intimate relation with Krishna. Now, how do we know all these things? We cannot figure out all these things by ourselves. We have to take the knowledge from the Shastra. We have to take the knowledge as it is explained by the Acharya. Otherwise, we cannot figure out this ourselves. Even Brahma could not figure out. And Brahma, because he could not figure out, he also learned this through Bhakti Yoga. And he is also the teacher of Bhakti Yoga. Jagatam Paro Guru. He is the first spiritual master, and he is the highest spiritual master because he gives knowledge of Bhakti. This is how we must absorb ourselves in our lives, in our activities, our sadhana, our seva. Because if we don't achieve understanding our intimate relation with Krishna, we have wasted our life. It's somebody who is so much, who is caring for us, who is maintaining the whole universe for us. See, such an elaborate creation it is. And we are also a created being. What is the purpose of all these things? It is to understand Him and realize our intimate relation with Him. Such a wonderful thing it is. We have intimate relation with Krishna. If somebody has some close friendship with Prime Minister, say, hey, I'll take you to Prime Minister. You know, people like that, they talk. Oh, Prabhu, he, very important man. He's very close to Mukesh Ambani. Like this, lot of devotees come and tell us, right? We hear this kind of thing. He's very close to Mukesh Ambani because he's a big man. And he feels, oh, he's close to him, he's very important, he can take us there. Because if you go to Mukesh Ambani and he likes it, isn't it? He is very powerful, how much money he has got, richest man. Now Krishna is saying, each one of us are very closely related to the richest man, even Krishna. Even Mukesh Ambani is getting all his richness from Krishna. To him we are all related. You see? That is why this Krishna consciousness, understanding that I am related to Krishna, just that it should fill our heart with joy. That is bhakti. In this way, antarama madgatena. You see, in the depth of our heart, we are related to Krishna, connected to Krishna. That kind of a intimate connection, bhakti yoga is. So that's why this yoga is high entity. So we should always be conscious of this greatness of this spiritual life that we are pursuing. Whatever service we are doing, it is meant to help us realize, purify ourselves and realize our loving relation with the Lord. We'll stop here. Any questions? Yes?
In the example of one boy who was trying to lift 400 kg and his father helped. Like sometimes like a father has 2 sons or 3 sons, they all are putting equal effort, but for some the father is allowing to lift 50 kg, for some is allowing 400 kg. What are the factors involved in a success of
Of a devotee. Isn't it? Devotees, the real success is this. There was a Prabhupada used to do distribution. There was a time, 1974-75, book distribution was at the peak. In America, there were 2-3 parties. Radha Damodar party headed by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. There was another party by Tripurari Swami. And there was another party in London. There was another party in Germany. All of them were competing to distribute. It's a very wonderful thing what Prabhupada, Americans, Germans, Englishmen. Can you imagine? See. Prabhupada created such competition. And once Prabhupada came to Manor in London. And so all the English devotees, they were in different parts of the country, they all came to meet Prabhupada. And the news had spread. So devotees came from Germany, different devotees came from France, different places, devotees came. And then they asked one question at the end of the class. Prabhupada, pleases the spiritual master most. They were all book distributors. And they wanted to hear once again from Prabhupada, if you distribute my books, that will please me most. And then everyone, yes. So they were waiting to hear. And Prabhupada said, when the spiritual master, his disciple is advancing in Krishna consciousness, that pleases the spiritual master most. If we are advancing in Krishna consciousness, we are developing detachment from this material world. If we are becoming Krishna, if we are becoming detached from sense gratification, kama, lust, if we are becoming detached from that and becoming more and more attached to Krishna, that will please the spiritual master most. Our devotional activities, we do different service, distribute books, give to various considerations that devotee has various abilities got because of his past karmas. And he may encourage him. to do also big seva, which is good. He must apply all his energy, all his mind, all his abilities in Krishna's service. That is the right thing to do. And he may be bringing service, results also. Krishna encouraging him through that result. If that result doesn't come, he will not be encouraged to do devotional service. So Krishna knows that. So encouraging him. So different situations the Lord will decide. But ultimately, what pleases the spiritual master most? We are making advancement. Prabhupada writes, if one person becomes a pure devotee and goes back to Godhead, I consider all my efforts to be successful. This is the thinking of the spiritual master. Of course, by Prabhupada's mercy, many devotees will go back to Godhead. Many devotees will go back to God by His mercy. Different reasons are there. The Lord allows different people to different circumstances. But what pleases the spiritual, Krishna most is when we are going back, making advancement in going back to becoming pure, purified in our heart. That will be pleasing to the spiritual master. Should always be conscious of it. Okay? We'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai. Jai Prabhupada.
Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare.